Hello, and welcome to the second video of a series of Overwatch fundamentals I really want to address to the general maths. Today I want to look over stages of fights and addressing triangles and paralleling angles when possible. I feel that this is something that's not necessarily covered a lot across many coaches, or just in general when looking at content for Overwatch. So when we're looking at the stages of fights, generally we see 5 of them. Most people usually say there's about 3 to 4, being there's the pre-fight, a scouting stage or setting up stage, with a mid-fight and a cleanup. I want to kind of change that out a little bit more and break it down in a way that makes sense. So if we're looking at the first stage, we kind of call this our poke, our peak phase, right? We have scouting. This is where everyone is going to be finding out where they want to go, where everyone else is, and just kind of figuring out how you want the engage to go. Generally, if you can limit your tank peaking in this time to correlate for the next stage, it works a little bit better. Your DPS can be a little bit more aggressive, and it makes your engages a little bit stronger all around. Second, we have a deep peak phase. This is generally where everyone wants to kind of peek back, go back into cover, get whatever CDs they need back for the engage, or heal back up. And then we have this re-peak phase. This is where engage starts. This is kind of based off of what info you're gathering in those first 2 phases. You're engaging, your HP pools are going to be way higher, and it's going to be a lot easier to play for the aspects of what you want in these fights than kind of just, going down main, hitting them brutally hard, and just kind of falling over. That's, the last thing that we want. And then we go into our 4th stage, which is our mid fight. In lower ranks, obviously you're going to see more like CD trades, alt trades, like over alting is going to happen a lot. But generally, if alts are in the variable, yes, alt trades are going to happen here a lot. They can be used in the in-gauge as well, but primarily in the meat of the mid-fight, this is where you'll see a lot of alt and CD trades kind of go through. Finally, we hit up that cleanup stage, we're finding ending the fight, but more importantly, we need to know, like, stage for the next fight. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to poke and be aggressive? Especially if you combine this with proactive positioning by playing forward, you can give up space over time and trade out CDs for that space that you gave up, which when the fight finally stages where you want it to happen, it's way easier to win because you're going to have a health advantage, you're going to have a CD advantage, and the fight's just going to be in an area that you're going to either have triangles built up on them, they're going to be in that middle of that tic-tac-toe that we talked about prior. It's just going to all around make your fights flow a lot smoother. And I do want to address like how important these are at a micro level, not just macro. You're going to use this a lot in macro, but all these concepts are super situational and very flexible, and you need to be thinking about as a player, forward thinking, where do I want to go? Where's their weak side? Where's their strong side? And you go, okay, someone's here, I should be walking here because it gives me access to this. And really work onto that idea of like why you're making decisions and doing them with reason and not doing it out of tilt or because it just looked good. So triangles, how do we make triangles? How do we build them? Right? This seems really simple. Why a triangle? Well, if we look at it really simple, if one corner of the triangle or one peak of the triangle is the enemy team, and then you have someone off creating the other angle of the triangle, we have 2 resources going at them from different directions. We know that when we split resources defensively, they're all weak on their own. So when they're stacked, they're really strong. So the idea is kind of splitting out these resources, taking control of more of the map, and being able to force them back over time, forcing out CDs faster, but also speeding up the engage itself. It's really important to know that when you're playing this game, that playing fast isn't right, but playing right is fast. And I know that sounds convoluted, but it makes a lot of sense when you look at the aspect of triangles, when you're trying to take angles and not inting into a fight before you know that the fight is guaranteed to win. Because the last thing you want to do is trade and then they become up 1 or they're even and the fight, falls out and it's all sloppy. So who makes a triangle? This is kind of one of those things that it's very situational. Um, it's important to know that triangles can be done as macro-wise as a full team, and they can be done microly, where you can just play off of one person, and them being the peak of this triangle will allow you guys to safely trade health onto them, force them back, or even get the pick, so that you guys can then continue working the map, build out the rest of your angles as a team, and then, so forth, get the objective, keep pushing the map. So how does this apply to the last concept that we talked about? Because the last concept we talked about was the stages of the fight, but more importantly, last video we talked about tic-tac-toe on the board, avoiding the middle. Well, if we are making anyone that steps in the middle the peak of the triangle, as long as we're working the sides of this angle, the sides of these triangles and the sides of these tic-tac-toe boards, it becomes really, really easy to start to see how this applies and builds upon the last concept that we're working on. So the biggest thing about stopping triangles or being able to build triangles is paralleling lines. What does paralleling do? It essentially mimics the angles that the other team is taking, where they would normally want to make you the peak of the triangle and saying, hey, we're going to stop that. Now, this is dependent on how you parallel is based off of weak side and strong side. Generally, weak side is things that, are playing more to live, they can poke, but they're not really just going to kill anything unless they're in a 2v2 or like a 2v1, whereas strong side has the brunt force of more of their resources and wanting to just kind of sit there, spam, they can match out, they can defiantly hold their space. It's pretty simple to see where that concept kind of plays into. Another quick note I want to make is when addressing paralleling, a lot of the time you're going to see paralleling happen where the strong side is going to kind of meet the weak side and flush it out, whereas the weak side can kind of sit in the same lane as strong side because they're so much better at playing the live and poke. They're just kind of being there and being a nuisance, and the threat of being there alone is enough to pressure. Mind though, is that is not always the case. Sometimes it is better to parallel where your strong side is still matching, but you will put your weak side on the opposite side. So if they're kind of closing up on your right side, you might keep pushing your weak side on the left side, because now there's no buffer between what pokes on their strong side for your weak side. So they're kind of freely poking. And being able to discern when you want to poke with no buffer and when you want to match their weak side as a weak side is also really important to know. Is the parallel stop though is kind of a good question, where paralleling stops once the splitting of the groups either goes into one group, or you've essentially killed off somebody and they can no longer, that group is just gone. So I'll have a concept here that I'm going to break into a little bit more that will dissect that out a little bit better than what I'm explaining now. So here I have on Blizzard World a little bit of a older example. We're going to use one of the prior metas where people were running the Bap Lucio with Mei and Sigma. I'm going to use Genji here just for the sake of ease. We can see that the Genji is going to be angling usually off on this side angle, because as the attacking team rotates, it kind of exposes off the back line. But as they continuously go to match out the strong side, the Genji can easily just keep like walking this, forming out this little triangle that we can see right here. So when you're trying to parallel, the big thing is being able to ask yourself who goes where, who's in what group. And this is such a situational concept and fundamental in Overwatch that this is something you kind of have to be able to experiment and take notes with mentally about who's going where, doing what, and why. So in this situation, we're going to adjust a little bit more to strong side flushing out weak. So you'll see here that Genji and Lucio can go off on the side, not exactly in these positions, but rule of thumb. They can play to live, they'll poke. Sigma, Bap, and Mei will flesh out this Genji from being able to freely see the Bap to poke out Lamp. And what this kind of does, it forces the Sigma to essentially say, hey, I can be on this side angle challenging this Genji, but they have access to my back line. They can see everyone. And if he wants to sit in the middle, like, he's going to die. He's taking angles from two ends. So he's left with the decision that he has to either match the rotation and match strong side, which gives up this weak side, and weak side no longer has a buffer. They get to freely peek at the map, they can poke down people, and this is going to want to make the signal walk back over time. So we see a case of strong versus weak, where you see weak versus strong. As they give up this space though, this is where you're going to start to see a lot more of how working these side lanes really builds up triangles while also avoiding other people. Genji can easily move up to the side on Boathouse with Lucio and shell the other Genji, and this is where we get to see that weak side versus weak side match. Because of where Sigma is, he's relatively safe. Bap can jump up here and even force a 3v2. Once they're kind of pushed out, either that's going to be a kill or they're back inside their team. And we see yet again this triangle is kind of forming once more, with the tic-tac-toe being right in front of Boat. If we have picks and they decide to keep walking this or hold this space, this is a great opportunity to essentially now take the brawl phase and move on top of them, wiping this fight, or they have to stay out of this area and just give objective entirely. And with the simple rotation of two groups of players, we've made this point just a hell of a lot easier instead of just running it down main, constantly matching tank the entire time. Attacking and defending in terms of how your triangles are going to work, how you parallel and play the 5 stages of your fight, are all prevalent to what is happening. Are you attacking? Do you have control of the objective? Well, obviously the goal is you're going to want to set up triangles, stop them from getting to cart for free. If you're attacking and you're looking to retake the objective, right, we want to retake through by opening up the map. So you'll overload a lane, get your team set up, and then maybe you'll burst out into groups, take an angle then, rather than starting on an angle before the mid-fight or before the engage was initially going to happen. Defending, right? Obviously, when we have control objective, it's still the same thing. We're kind of hitting on rotate, stopping them from getting to the objective for free. But when we're looking to retake and kind of get that control again, it's the same thing. We want to overload a lane. We want to set up, open up our map. So let's run through we'll run through a few examples on how to do so, or I guess visuals to kind of break it down. So here we have a scrim that's of Timeless Obsidian against Amplify. And we're seeing this concept of attacking but defensively attacking, where they want to control the objective, they want to stop the other team from getting in for free. They're setting up angles, as you can see in the back. They have their Genji and their Lucio back here, so just coming back, but this is our strong side and this is our weak side. And you'll see how their strong side back here, which has more resources, being the BAP, the Soj. There's another one back here, I believe this is Kiri, whereas there's only 2 up here. This is their weak side. And we'll break into why that works a little bit. Ooh, let me turn this up.
No spin. Point. Yeah, 3, 2. Go with Kiri. Yup. 3, 2. Go window. Crash window.
Look at me.
Loki, I have shot soon, but like it's risky, bro. Wait for my ult. Just chill. Head. Shot him 4. Nice pick. 3, 2, 1. Go.
I'm on back.
Search. Oh, I'm gonna die. No more else.
So there's a couple things you can see happen in this fight that really showcase how triangles work the way they do. So we see that there was a parallel initially happening. There's an engage here. They're stopping this engage. If we walk past this bus, we're the peak of the triangle, and it's easier for them to put health trades into us than it is for us to put health trades into them. So what you're going to actually see happen here is
Crash window.
Look at me.
a lot of what's happening is you see an angle from here and an angle from here. Anyone that kind of steps into this area should be the brunt of health trades. There's a lot of effort being put into their Mei trying to force that ice block.
Loki, I have shot soon, but like it's risky.
You'll see that Dynasty now moves off to the side over here, and then we're still holding this triangle. Anyone that plays this mid lane should be punished or poked out. So you'll see a lot of emphasis put into the Mei.
Shot him 4. Nice pick. 3, 2, 1. Go.
And because of Dynasty being on this side angle, it opens up for a forced decision. Mei now has to think about walling off the core or walling away the Genji. And in this situation, the Genji has been walled. The strong side can now slam Mei, but most importantly, this ult, this JQ ult that's about to come out, cannot be stopped.
Go, go, go.
I'm on back.
Search. Oh, I'm gonna die. No more else. Nice.
Kill me.
So you can see how alone, just by taking these angles, they've really pressured this Mei out and forced wall out on 2 occasions, as well as forcing out a cryo. It's really hard for her to do anything. She's locked in a stagnant position. As long as everyone plays their life and tries not to int for anyone else and just forces blue team away from their Mei or from the objective, trying to stop them from getting this objective for free, this Mei becomes a really, really easy pick. Here, we're seeing a situation of attacking on the attack side. We're re-engaging. We are looking to get the best possible engage that we can. So you'll see how the first stage here is we're poking, but we're walking while we poke and peek. But we're trying to really limit how much damage is coming out. We see a DPS is going off this way. Moira is working up here to get to our Ram. Our Genji, Lucio are working off this angle. As the engage happens, you'll see a Cole come out, but Genji's still working this angle. He's looking to connect, but keep this triangle on their backline so that we can go for like really, really nice trades. But no one's going to commit like hard onto anyone until we know that this engage is possible.
Alright.
I'm ready when.
You'll see here that they've already walked up. They say that they're ready for whenever. Everyone is not peeking. They're looking for that opportunity to go. Everyone's full HP. And then we're going to burst out really, really hard and really, really fast here, making it hard for Maryville to actually have any compensation back to the actual engage.
Do you see me? Do you see me? We're gonna
Yes,
connect.
sir.
Get ready.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
I'm going hard.
Bap.
I'm being on 3, 2, 1 now. Go.
I'm on BAP.
Force ice.
BAP one dead.
Can we bind?
Charge.
One in the back. Let's shoot one.
Charge cut.
Let's shoot one.
Even.
Play left,
Go,
play
go,
left.
Me low. We're up one.
May.
Just ram.
Play the shield.
But each time that we look at one of these triangles, we can see the exact concepts of not trying to be in the middle, not attempting to take as much damage. They're playing the 5 stages that they want to play, and they're committing when the fights are won. They're opening up the map, they're developing, they take these triangles and place a tic-tac-toe in a whole new area of the map where they want it to be, rather than where the enemy would like to fight. Here, we get to see a matchup of Timeless Obsidian against Maryville. They have control of objective, and they're taking a fight so far up into their spawn to ensure that Maryville can't get another touch going into this point. But what happens here is you can see this left lane get overloaded on this side, and when everyone's ready to take the engage out, you're going to see a very quick dash from this side from Dynasty with Blade to ensure that this triangle is here, because now people are going to want to look off this way, say, oh, the Genji's here, so I want to pressure this away and stop them from keeping this angle, which helps relieve, even if it's 1 to 2 people, that is pressure being pulled off of your team, giving your team a really free rotation in, taking less damage, having to use less CDs, so on and so forth. Let's see this play out.
Fighting the spawn. Blade. 3, 2, 1. Blade this May.
I'm bleeding. Walk.
Bap one.
I blocked him after this.
Bap,
Okay.
sword one.
Ram walking your Moira.
Look at me. I'm dead.
Can we? I blocked my
Reaper.
May.
So, on right.
I kill Surge.
You're up one.
No, she didn't spawn, bro.
It's
I didn't know
okay.
the door
Look at the
was there.
percentage. Look at the cap. Look at the point.
Yeah, we got it.
And even though they lost this fight, the aspects of what they wanted from these 5 stages and the triangle has accomplished the goal. They have taken the point. They have moved from 1 to 2, and they're going to a 5th round of Flashpoint. This is ideal. Even if losing, they still pulled something out. They pulled out ults, they used ults of their own, but more importantly, they walked away with a free objective win. So, I'm hoping that this video broke down things that either you knew but didn't know how effective it could be to what you've been playing, or even taught you something new entirely. If that is the case, like, please leave a comment down below and let me know, has this changed how you've seen the game? Does this open up a new way of how you want to see the game, or even figure out how to teach yourself from mistakes you've made prior? I'm opening up my Discord. There will be a link for it down below. Anytime if you want to do VOD reviews, I will be doing weekly streams, doing VOD reviews for free. If you have VODs you want to post, being able to post them, I can use them for examples for videos. I can make a whole new video talking about a brand new concept about character specifics. I can do so much with them. And the benefits that I can not only give to you, but you can give to me in turn of having more reference material to use will be enormous. If you are looking forward to seeing any more videos like this, please like subscribe, hit the bell, all that corny YouTube stuff. It helps me a lot and really keeps me prevalent in the algorithm because I want to make a positive change across Overwatch as a whole. I feel game state quality is really bad. Not a lot of people understand the fundamentals of like what is happening as they climb ranks, as you should in games before. In games like League and Valorant have way better content groups about actually bringing information that's prevalent to players, not just improving at a macro level, but at a micro level, mechanically, decisions, active thinking, etc. All that, the whole 9 yards. If there's anything that you'd like to see coming up in these new videos, just throw a comment down below. I can easily pump something out if you bring some suggestion that I think would be awesome to bring to the table first, or if it's just short enough that I can squeeze it in before another one. If you like the video, give it a like. If you dislike it, hit it with a dislike. I'm not you. Yeah, I'm out.